Alright, so E3 2019 is now officially over, and all the conferences have been completed and done, and are done. And, you know, this is the time where we get to reflect on the past week of gaming. And let's just go through all the conferences, starting with EA. EA went for a less conventional E3 conference this year and decided to just go talk about 6 games for half an hour each for 3 hours, and it did not work out well. They announced no new games and only talked about games that everybody doesn't really care about. I mean, I guess there's some audience considering why they still make the games, but it's not good. The games they showed were Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which looks like a Star Wars game. I'll give them that. Then there was Apex Legends, a dead Battle Royale game, which hasn't had any support really since around when the game came out at first. They talked about FIFA 20 and Madden 20, which is just FIFA and Madden with updated stuff, I guess. Then they talked about The Sims 4, which is a 5-year-old game, which is apparently getting some sort of DLC. I mean, they could be all fine games. I mean, Madden and FIFA are just Madden and FIFA, the same things that we've had for the past 20 years. As per normal every EA E3 conference, there was a whole bunch of cringe. And ooh, it hurt. It really hurts. I didn't watch the whole conference because that's 3 wasted hours of my life talking about games that I don't really care about. But this conference was just painful.
Gaming.
Microsoft revealed 60 games plus the name for their new console and the specs for it, the hardware, saying they can run at 120 frames per second, which good for them. I don't really care about the hardware, and they talked a bunch about the hardware. They were like, this game is gonna run at 120 frames per second. I'm like, I don't care if it looks good or anything. I just want it to be a good game. Like the N64 games, they all look terrible now. Almost none of them have aged graphically. They're all still great games, but they have not aged graphically. Super Mario 64, the first game on the N64, it looks terrible. But it is still considered one of the best games of all time. If none of these games, really, they all look spectacular. But nobody, I don't think, is going to remember them unless they are masterpieces. But onto the games themselves, they revealed Lego Forza. They revealed they showed a new trailer for Psychonauts 2, which I've heard that's the first Psychonauts was a great game. They showed off a bit of Halo Infinite, of course, no gameplay. Oh, that's a running theme in this, in E3 this year. There are trailers with just no gameplay at all, whatsoever. And, what else? They showed off their cloud system and their subscription service for games, which was also a running theme in this E3 this year. They revealed a whole bunch of more games. Oh yeah, and the one thing people won't stop talking about for this conference, Cyberpunk 2077. The game looks great visually, and I'm sure it will be a great game, but oh, they got Keanu Reeves. Oh my. They got Jesus in a game. Keanu Reeves has just been everywhere for this past week, and honestly, I love it. He is actually, I've done a lot of research on him since E3, but he seems like one of the nicest people in Hollywood. And he's in Cyberpunk 2077, and then he presented on stage. So I really hope this game is good. I really do. Then Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox and Microsoft, or the head of Xbox, came on stage and said, "Gaming 200 times."
Thank you. Gaming, gamers, gaming.
That's all I can remember really from Microsoft's presentation. It was kind of underwhelming, but the good games they did show looked really good. But the other games just kind of blended together, in my opinion. On to Bethesda.
And
what was that conference? That conference sucked. Bethesda showed off like 15 or something mobile games. I'm sure it wasn't 15, it just felt like that. There was that one guy in the crowd that was screaming, "Yeah!" after everything. They showed nothing about their games they announced last year except for Doom Eternal. They didn't show any Elder Scrolls 6. They didn't show any Starfield, whatever that game was called. But they showed Doom Eternal, and that looks really good. The other game that looks really good for me is Ghostwire Tokyo. It's Tokyo Ghostwire or something like that. The graphics look good, but the one thing that sold that game for me was the presenter named Ikumi Nakamura. I'm probably mispronouncing that name, I'm not sure, but she was one of the head people for like stuff like Bayonetta and Okami, which are great games. So I have no doubt that this game will be good or great. And she's really cute. I'm just gonna say that right now. Fallout 76 is getting a Battle Royale. Nobody's playing that, nobody cares. That's all I can really remember from Bethesda E3. Ubisoft was almost just as bad as Bethesda. They showed off 15 Tom Clancy games. Was Tom Clancy a real person? I never really know that. I just guess that he is a real person. But why are there so many games around him? Like, who plays all these games? But Ubisoft didn't show, Ubisoft showed a whole bunch of Tom Clancy games and shooter games. They showed off Watch Dogs 3, which looks interesting, where you can control any NPC and it has a permadeath mode, which is also pretty interesting. That I feel like that segment of the show for Watch Dogs went on a bit too long. I mean, it did show gameplay, which is like one of the best things you could do at this E3. They also revealed a Ubisoft streaming service, which makes no sense. I doubt there's any Ubisoft fans or hardcore Ubisoft fans who would like, hey, you know what's a great idea? Having every single Tom Clancy game on one streaming service. It's the same game. Or you can play Uno on there. Who cares? Uno's like, I want to say $5 or something. Why don't you just buy Uno? It's cheaper. Or you could get the actual card game, which is like $1 some places. I don't know. I don't really remember much else from Ubisoft. I remember all the way at the end they showed off this new IP called Gods and Monsters, which is just a great name, Ubisoft. Great name. I would say it looks cool, but they showed no gameplay of it, and it's coming out next year. So, moving on to Square Enix. Square Enix was, in my opinion, the best conference until Nintendo. They showed off the Final Fantasy VII Remake, a whole bunch of that, and that looks great. It's hard to believe it's coming out next year after 4 years of hearing nothing of it, but it looks really great, and I want a PlayStation 4 because I just want to play it. The rest of the show was like Dragon Quest, more Final Fantasy stuff, more Final Fantasy, some Final Fantasy Online. And at the end of the show, they showed off the Avengers game, which I was really hyped for, but I'm kind of underwhelmed now. For some reason, my brain thought that it would be like the MCU and they get all the actors for that. And it just doesn't feel the same without the voice actors. They all look like knockoff of the MCU. I get that it's trying to be like the comic books or whatever, but it just doesn't feel right. But there's gonna be free DLC for like more heroes and more missions, I think. So it could be really good. I'm just not getting my hopes up yet. And then there was Nintendo. I made a whole video about Nintendo's E3, so you should go and watch that. But yeah, E3 this year, kind of underwhelming. The best conferences were the last two, being Square and Nintendo, showing off games that people actually wanted or actually got hyped for. And the other conferences had that, like Bethesda had Doom Eternal and Microsoft had Halo Infinite and Cyberpunk 2077. But that's about it. That's all I can remember about E3. Kind of underwhelming. So that's it. Thank you guys for 50 subscribers. That's a big accomplishment for me. And I hope if you like this video, you subscribe so we can make more subscribers. Like the video, whatever. That's gonna be it for today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching me for 15 minutes if you got all the way here. And have yourself a really nice day. See ya.